So it's Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk. Email address to the programme, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, I hope those of you that watch the show will notice an improvement in the appearance of the now world-famous different coloured shirts. It's the striped one today, and of course, now they're all being ironed before you cast your beady little eyes on them. Is that an improvement? I do hope so. Work is building up once again in the house. Oh yes, I noticed today that one of the chairs where one of my cats resides in the kitchen has got, I don't know what you call it, cat juice. I think we call it cat juice. No, it's not coming out the back end, don't worry. I noticed that it seems to be a sort of a sticky cat juice residue all over the chair itself. So I need to clean that this week. Now, rather than tell you about my activities over the last couple of days, there are one or two emails that have to be done. I wanted to tell you the bank story, which I've been promising to tell you now for weeks and weeks. Well, maybe not weeks, but certainly days. Will we have time for it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm actually in a quandary now. Should I start with some emails, or should I start with the bank story? What do you reckon? Bearing in mind there are a lot of emails. We'll start with the emails, maybe do the bank story another day. Oh, I know how to hook you in. It's like an episode of Doctor Who, it really is. Oh, by the way, has anyone been watching Doctor Who? Here in the UK? Don't know if you get it. Where are you? Do you get Doctor Who where you are? Well, if you're a Doctor Who fan, you will know a woman has appeared in it. Black woman. And she knows the Doctor. And she can't believe that he doesn't remember her. And they've really hooked us in with that episode because we don't know who the lady is and we're all dying to know. Has anyone got an idea? We got any Doctor Who fans anywhere? Eh? Do you know who this woman is? You do? Come on, let me know. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. That's the email address. Now, straight to the emails then. Are you ready? This is from Wayne. Hello, Wayne, in Norwich. Da, 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 da. Now, if you're not from Norwich, or not from the UK, you won't know what that little tune is. Right, Norwich, it used to be that each area in the UK had its own TV station. A little bit like you have in America. You have all these little affiliates, don't you, in America? I know this. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm very knowledgeable about television type things, you know. We used to have that system here. Not now, because unfortunately, the government at the time decided to give all these little TV companies permission to buy each other out, and we're left with basically just one big ITV, which is it's not good. I mean, to be honest, it's not good. It was so much nicer when you had all these little local companies. Sometimes they chucked out their own programmes, and sometimes they all came together for other bits and pieces. And it's a shame. Anyway, that little tune, da 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 da, was the tune for where Wayne lives, Norwich, Anglia television region, and they used to have a little horse which turned round. And the tune, you'll have to pretend for a moment I'm a horse. If I put my teeth out, do I look more like a horse now? Eh? I haven't got well, I have got a long nose, but I'm not so sure it's horse-like. All right, so and the horse would turn round, you see, da 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 da, and it was a little silver horse. Oh, it was camp as camp can be. Anyway, back to the email. Wayne says, I laughed out loud when you were reading my email and of course doing your show. What a liberty, he says. You giving away listeners to other shows? Oh, you're talking about Suko, aren't you? And Wayne Anonymous, that's another Wayne. That's not the same one as in Norwich. Wayne Anonymous. Are you following this or what? It's like an episode of Soap. Does anyone remember that? Da 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 da. I wonder if PK Pure's watching this in South London. Oh yeah, I bet you won't remember Soap. It was about these two families. I think there were two families in America, and there was a butler called Benson. He was the best character in it. And there was this mad... I can't even remember the names now. Who was the mad woman with the crinkly hair? Was it Catherine? Could have been Catherine. Anyway, it was the Tate family and another family, I think. And all different characters. It was great. Back to the story. Don't worry about what a liberty you giving away listeners to other shows. Don't worry, I won't report you. Cheek, that's what it is. Well, it is. It is. The thing is, Wayne, right? These other friends and listeners to United Kingdom, they don't actually ask to go on the other shows. I mean, you would have thought they asked permission first. Maybe I should have some sort of form drawn up. Like you know those permission forms that you used to get at school? If you're about to go on I was going to say on a date then, if you're about something that I haven't been on for a while, I'm afraid to say, boys and girls. This old fool hasn't been on a date. What a shame. Anyway, yeah, we should have some sort of form drawn up, and it would say, because Suko's one of these people. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Suko's away, dear. She's away. I mean, she still occasionally writes in this programme. But I've got a feeling, you know, Suko, I don't know if your heart's in it anymore, my love. I used to get reams and reams of text from you over 10, 20, 30 sizes of A4 paper, A3 paper. But now it's just like a couple of lines, Suko. Oh, well, I suppose we all have to move on sometimes. Nobody loves me. Back to this. So we get the form drawn up. So it would say, Chris Reardon gives, for example, Suko permission to appear on thematineeshow.co.uk or something like that. And I would sign the bottom and send it off. What do you reckon? Yes, that's what we need. The listeners need permission forms. Permission to appear on other programmes. Just an idea. Wayne says, anyway, been greatly enjoying the programme and I've been listening and watching your programme while working hard on my PC. I actually find it relaxing. Do you not find, though, when you're working, I don't know, on an email or something like that, do other sounds put you off? I mean, I find it difficult to, for example, watch the television and do something on the computer at the same time, or anything doing two things at the same time. Read a paper and listen to music. When I'm working on the computer, quite often my house is in silence. All I can hear, if it's the daytime, of course, the birds singing, which they are doing now. Oh, listen. Pretty birds. Pretty birds. We'd also have paracletes, wouldn't it? My friend in Australia, he's got a lovely house in Sydney. His name's Peter, and his wife's name's Ruby. And when I go out there, I do go and visit them. They've got the most beautiful house, and it overlooks like a forest, and the forest is like in a valley. Oh, such spectacular views. And he has these little parrot-type birds, and they're just flying around wild in the garden. And one of the birds that flap their wings really fast and they stay in one position. Is that a hummingbird? I can't remember. He's got one of those that comes and visits. And you can hold out a piece of food for this little bird. I think it's white. If I remember rightly, last time I went, it was white. It's a white bird. And this thing comes along, it flies in, and its wings are flapping like that, and it stays in one position. I mean, I have enough trouble staying in one position, as you know. Up and down every 5 minutes, that's me. Wayne says, I love it when you do tours and show us things you have recently bought or used and see in the garden too. Yes, I'm thinking of opening the garden to the public, Wayne. What do you reckon? Could we charge to come in here? And what would be expected? That, I tell you what, that would be good, wouldn't it? Chris Reardon's tea party. Oh, yes. Oh, I like the sound of that, Wayne. I'm sorry about the squeak, incidentally. Oh, two things I've noticed since the last show, because rather unusually I played sometimes very, very rarely, because believe it or not, hang on a minute, believe it or not, I don't actually like the sound of my own voice. I know you find that hard to believe, but a couple of things I noticed on the last show. Number one, I didn't quite have my umbrella, which is above me now, correctly positioned, and one side of me was in shade and the other side of me was in the sunshine. Did you notice that? And the other thing I've been noticing is the odd squeak that you get. No, it's not my pocket opening. I know what you think. It's not my pocket opening. It is, in fact, this wooden chair that I'm sitting on, and needs a little bit of... Actually, it's not too bad, and it needs a bit of an oil, I think, which I must do at some point. So, apologies if they spoiled your enjoyment there. Let's see. Wayne, oh yes, yeah, the Chris Reardon garden party, yeah. We could all arrive, I don't know, what about 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Come straight through the kitchen. Of course, I'd have to lock all the other doors. I mean, you don't know who's coming in. I mean, obviously, if you're a regular listener or viewer, then you're not going to steal from Chris Reardon's house, are you? You're just not going to do it. But there may be people around the area, you know where they are, that knock at the door and pretend to be listeners. We've had it round here in the papers before. People pretending, knocking on people's door and pretending to work as builders or the water authority or people from the council, and they come in and they say, oh hello, we work for Bracknell Council, we've just come in to check whatever. And then they go in and they steal things from people. Now that could happen, couldn't it? How do we get around this? Maybe we should produce a badge, a little badge, guest of Chris Reardon, with an exclusive number on it. Who wants number one? Huh? Do you want number one? Anyway, so once we've got that sorted, well, people will come straight through into the garden. Oh, I've just noticed an area of the garden that's rather wet over there. Why is that? I'll have a look at that later. We don't like damp, dear. Talking of damp, some idiot left the back window open in the car the other day and didn't close it. Oh, yes, marvellous, isn't it? And it rained. Oh, yes, wet carpet. Anyway, back to this. We can come straight through the kitchen, into the garden, have a few seats out here. I wonder how many people would come. And then, of course, I wouldn't have much time to talk. Oh, yes, I would. Yes, I would. I could come out and mingle with guests. And we could have Wayne the butler. We'll have all the characters here. We'll have Wayne the butler. We'll have Gwen the singer. And we'll have Joy, the old dear in Acton. Sorry, Joy. Do you like that, Joy? Joy, the old dear in Acton. At a push, we could invite James Dean. And you can come up and come and speak to him. Although, quite honestly, you know, if you're not a celebrity, he does tend to be a bit stuck up his own self. I mean, he does. It's like you've got to be a bit of a celebrity before he talks to you. Otherwise, he sticks his nose in the air and walks off. Oh, I don't like to. I mean, who am I to talk about colleagues in the industry like that? But I'm just warning you. I don't want you to come. And he might be there if I invite. I think it's unlikely I'm going to invite him, really. Do you know, I mean, he'll probably be walking around with a notepad, making notes. And oh, by the way, would you like to appear on my show? Oh, he's desperate, absolutely desperate for people to appear on his show. Yeah, absolutely stealing listeners left, right, and centre. That's what he does. He'd be walking around. No, I don't think we better invite him. I think that's too much. Who else would you like? Oh, Wayne the butler, of course. I'll bring him in to do the tea, and we will have afternoon English tea. Huh? We'll have a few little sandwiches. They're cut in triangles. I mean, quite honestly, it was lovely at Fortnum and Mason's, but when they brought the sandwiches out, I thought to myself, I'm going to have 10 rounds of those. I hope you enjoyed my little insight, incidentally, on the last show into afternoon tea at Fortnum and Mason's. I had intended only to talk for 10 or 15 minutes about it, but as things happened, it did take up the whole hour, didn't it? I hope it was interesting, yes. So that's what we'll do. And we'll have Wayne here, little sandwiches, we'll have scones, clotted cream. We'll have jam. And of course, a selection of English teas, all served in teapots. We're not having none of this tea bag in a bag cup. Tea bag in a cup business, rather. We're not having any of that. We have proper tea, dear. Oh, I shall have to go out and get some teapots. That's what I'd like, actually. I haven't got a posh teapot. Hang on a minute. Let me just go in the kitchen and see. I can't remember what teapots I've got now. 1 minute. I think I've only got one. 1 minute. Stay there. Don't go. Do you want to come in? Do you want to come in the kitchen? All right then. Just a minute. Yeah. Just a minute now. Let's see what teapots. Well, be with you in a minute. Just a minute. Oh, I've got a... Oh, that's... Well, I've got it there. There we are. That's it. Back again. Sorry about that, just getting my bits and pieces. I should get my props before I start the programme, really. Right. Yes, I've only got two teacups. You probably think I'm sitting here with a... Oh, I hope there's nothing in it. Years since I took the top off this. Oh, it's a noisy plane, isn't it? It's going over now. Let me have a look. One of those jumbo things. I've got a little white teapot. And I've got a stainless steel one, but I like one of those teapots with, I don't know, little birds painted on the side or something like that. Maybe I should ask my sister for that for Christmas. It'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? So Wayne will serve all different, and you'll be able to choose what type of tea you have. Oh yes, my favourite, of course, would be a strong cup like the Fortnum & Mason's Royal Blend. I quite like that one. Whittard of Chelsea, organic, very nice. And more readily available is the Twinings English breakfast tea. My favourite cups of tea. So we'll have Wayne serving that. Oh, and it'll all be very pleasant. It'll all be over and done with by 6 o'clock, so that I can get my afternoon nap. I think we should do that, you know. If you're coming to the UK, certainly Suko, if you're coming to the UK on holiday, and I think you're coming next April, here is my invite to you to pop round for afternoon tea. All right, Suko? You didn't expect that in the show today, did you? Be honest, I didn't expect it either. But you can get a train from central London. I guess you'll be staying there at some point. To Bracknell. I will pick you up from Bracknell in my little car. Got out. How many of you is there going to be? I mean, if there's more of a party of 30 or 40, I may have to make a minimal charge. Just to cover expenses. You understand how it is. And maybe when afternoon tea is over, I could also get Wayne to just set up at the front and sell little souvenirs of your visit. What do you reckon? I'm a little bit concerned the Wandle boys from Mitcham might help themselves to their own souvenirs. Is that right, Michael? Back to the email. Wayne says, I also love the way you explain things for radio listeners, or dare I say non-techies. Yeah, well, I don't think I'm a non-techie, but I'm not a brilliant techie. I can do bits and pieces, you know. You asked where I live, Wayne says. I live in Norwich. Now, that's not Norwich outside the UK, because he says there are Norwiches elsewhere. I didn't know this. Do you know what? There are no Bracknells anywhere else on the planet. There's only one Bracknell. Just a minute. Can I just check something? Stay there a second. I've got a feeling you're not looking at me. 1 minute. I thought not. There we are. I thought to myself, that camera's moved. Yeah, there are no... You type it in. I don't think there are any other Bracknells in the world. Bracknell. See, we are exclusive. Absolutely exclusive. The only way you can get... You need a passport. We should have our own customs here, I think. Customs and passport control. As you come through, certainly to come to my house. Tickets will be checked. Oh, that's how we'll do it. We'll do it by ticket entry only. What do you reckon? Now, unfortunately, it's highly likely it will rain on whatever day we choose, so umbrellas are advised. Or maybe I should get one of those gazebo... Aren't they awful, those gazebos? Oh, I think they're dreadful, dear. Everyone's buying them now, and they're so cheap. They're about £25 with this bit of material. But, you know, it takes away half the garden, doesn't it? I don't mind a marquee. Perhaps we should set out a marquee out here or something like that. Have a little entertainment in the afternoons, some jugglers or some magicians, that sort of thing. And, of course, more important than meeting me, you will meet my 2 babies, Tiny, queen of all that is evil, and Katie, the happy one. Yes, the 2 cats. One over there. Where's... Katie, where are you? Katie? I don't know where the other one is, actually. She's probably resting, being a daytime. She's resting. Wayne works in communication and does a lot of internet-based work in his spare time. Or maybe you could get the message of United Kingdom Talk around. We could do with a few more viewers and listeners, you know. Just pass around the... all you got to do is a little email. This is for anyone else as well, okay? All you got to do is send a little email to your entire address book saying, here is my friend Chris Reardon, www.unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Watch it, you might like. That's all you got to do. Will you do me that one tiny little favour? All those hours that I strive just to put a little smile on your face. Can I ask, do I ever ask you of a favour? Do I? Do I ever ask of a favour? Can I ask that little favour? Can you recruit a few more people to our happy little gang? Thanks for adding me to Facebook. I enjoy seeing your updates and update notes there. We've got Facebook as well. If you want to add that, it's Chris Reardon London. I usually do, if I remember, I usually do a little welcome video, a personalised welcome video. All for nothing. There's no charge. No charge, dear. All right, Chris Reardon London. If you want to add the Facebook. He says, by the way, do you often get stuck with people's abbreviations? And he says, why is that such a long word? Abbreviations should be AS, I reckon. Or ABS. Or ABH. Oh, no, that's when you beat someone up, isn't it? ABS. I tend to use them a lot, especially on the mobile. Do you think there should be an abbreviation dictionary? Perhaps there is one, and I just don't know about it. Yes, I do get stuck with abbreviations. And if you remember, I was reading out Michael's PK Puree. Read that. I think that's his gang name, PK Puree. I was reading out his email on the show last Saturday. And he writes in that, like, text language that my niece writes. And I do have a job sometimes understanding it. But that's an age thing, you see. That's how they've grown up to learn that. We haven't learnt that, have we? But we do, I think you're right, we do need an abbreviation dictionary. I remember working on directory inquiries in Wimbledon, here in the UK. And quite often, people would ring up for a telephone number and they would abbreviate what they were ringing up for. And one of the abbreviations was V. Have you got the number, please? Because you ring up directory inquiries for a phone number. At that time, there was no charge. Then a charge of 50p per call was brought in, and the job died overnight. No one rang in anymore. But of course, that's exactly what BT wanted, because they wanted to save money on all us. And one of the abbreviations they would come out with was, have you got the number, please, of the VRS? So, I mean, the new operators wouldn't know what that is. So looking at VRS, what's VRS? You know what VRS is? What's VRS? And it turns out they wanted the phone number of Victoria Railway Station. So yes, abbreviations, they get on my nerves sometimes, to be honest, Wayne. And I think they're used a lot more than what they should be used, abbreviations. But an abbreviation dictionary, that's a good idea. Maybe you should make one. You might make some money. Oh, by the way, if you do that, can we have a little advert for United Kingdom Talk in the front of the book? You don't mind, do you, eh? Wayne says, I'm not medicated, taking pills when listening to your show or drinking, except water, Adam's ale. Take care for now, from Wayne. Yeah. Who was it? Wayne Anonymous suggested that if you listened to more than one show at a time, you might need to take medication or be restrained. Because quite honestly, I don't think you could take it, could you? I wonder how many. What is it? We must have done by now, between 280 and 300 hours worth of shows. How many weeks or days would that all be together? So it's 240. 24 hours in a day. 240 would be 10 days, wouldn't it? So 11, I reckon about 15 days worth, 13 or 15 days worth of shows played back to back without a break in the middle. Could you take that? Maybe that could be an experiment. Huh? Lock yourself in a room, or lock an enemy in a room, and start playing my shows back to back and see how long they last. There will be a prize of a BINGAY / United Kingdom Talk mug for all those who managed to sit there through the whole 280 hours worth. Talking of prizes, we still haven't done the experiment for the BINGAY yet, have we? We're going to try BINGAY on the radio. Now, if you want to take part in the experiment for this, I will need your email address. Even if you are a regular writer, please send me an email. I'm sorry, this one's going to be just for the email people only while we're experimenting with this, okay? Send me your email address and just a little note, I would like to take part in the BINGAY experiment, or just BINGAY experiment, and we'll take it from there. All I need is your email, and then I will send you off a virtual bingo ticket, which you can then print off, and over the coming few shows we will play BINGAY on the radio. And once again, the prize will be a BINGAY / United Kingdom Talk mug. And I think they are worth winning. I think so. Please, if you do win one, as always, don't put any hot liquids in the cup because the handle is likely to drop off. They're very, very inferior. Well, I'm sorry, I've got to cut costs. You know, if you want a proper cup with hand-painted periwinkles on it or something like that, like Mrs. Bouquet in that programme Keeping Up Appearances, well, it's too expensive, dear. It's got to be done on the cheap, dear. All right? So if you want to take part in that little experiment, please send me an email. Hi, Chris, I would like to take part in the BINGAY experiment, and then I'll take it from there, send you a bingo ticket, and we'll get going, all right? That's happening over the next few weeks. Also, another little thing I'm doing. You remember where I was doing the quiz at the Steam Coach every Wednesday night? Well, I gave that up a little while ago for a night off, and then foolishly a few weeks after that filled that night with another job. But we've tried an experiment, and it's worked quite well. Now, I haven't gone live with this yet, but basically I do, by video, the quiz from the Mirrorball Studios. The Steam Coach, Justin's the manager there, picks it up on his internet connection and broadcasts it round the pub with sound, and I can now do, or we haven't done it yet, I mean, we haven't gone actually live with this, we've just done a few tests between me and him. I can now do a quiz live, okay, live from the Mirrorball Studios, kind of on his television stuff. So again, over the next month or two, we're going to try that, where I'm in the studio reading out the questions, people in the pub are writing down the answers, and you too will be able to join in that live. Okay? I will tell you about that nearer the time. There's a few more bits and pieces to iron out, plus the fact I will need to take a night off from wherever I'm working on that particular night, so that we can try this out. And I'm quite excited about that. You too will be able to join in this quiz, and I think although of course I'm afraid there won't be any cash prize for you. I think the cash prize at the pub is about 200 quid, something like that, which is worth winning. As viewers and listeners to United Kingdom Talk, I know that you would be insulted by the thought of me trying to give away so much cash. Not that I've got that cash to give away, dears. You know? I mean, it's eating from one day to the next here in Royal Berkshire. It really is. I don't want to insult you by offering any large prize or anything like that, so you'll be joining in just for the fun, all right? So that'll be a live little video thing. All you'll have to do is type into the computer an address which I will give you when the time comes and tell you what time it's on and everything like that, and you can join in, all right? So it's lots of little new things. I like new things. I am driven... Oh, that squeaky chair again, isn't it? I'm driven by new challenges, I really am. I'm sure this chair's going to collapse in a minute. Are you going to collapse? OK, also, Wayne again here. Let me see, this is the right one, isn't it? I forgot this part of the email. Wayne says, you asked what Disney characters were. Remember? There were 2 dogs on the picture of my Disney 15-year mug. He said, you asked what the Disney characters were. You have Goofy, that was the one with buck teeth, and Pluto as dogs. I forgot about Pluto. And I thought Snow White was the one with dwarves, and Sleeping Beauty was the one with the castle and the prince. I can't remember now. Oh, there's a dog outside. Can you hear that dog? The cats aren't worried about that. Oh, no, God's sake. No silly little Alsatian dog is going to attack my cats. Don't you worry about that. They don't dare come in here, dear. Thank you very much. Now, I do believe we've got a birthday. I do believe we've got a birthday. This is the closest show to this birthday. Okay. Hello, Chris. My mum will be celebrating her 88th birthday. 88. How old is that? 88th birthday on June the 13th. Would you be so kind as to send her a note with perhaps a little picture wishing her a happy birthday? She would really be surprised by the mail from the United Kingdom. Thanks a lot, Wayne. And her name is Estelle. So, what I've done, Wayne, is because at the moment this show is recorded 1 week ahead, I've put the show on DVD and a little card. I don't know, I've got a photo because I haven't got a colour printed. Would a black and white one be all right? So what I'll do is put the whole show... Oh, hang on a minute. Can you watch our DVDs in the States? Oh, it must be... I'm not sure about that. Oh, I'll do it anyway. I'll put this show on a DVD, and what we'll do now is just go into the living room and sing Happy Birthday to your mum, all right? So just a minute now. Oh, yes. Always willing to do nice things for people, as they are for me. Not many, but sometimes they do. Now, I'm just going to take you inside. Just a minute now. Just a minute. There we are. Take you inside, into the house. Sit on the piano. I had no idea I was going to do this, to be honest. Oh, there's flies in here. Go away, you nasty flies. I know what they're after. They're after the cat food. They are horrible things. Oh, there's my Dalek in the kitchen, keeping an eye on everything that's going on in here. Oh yes, Daleks everywhere. Right, here we are in the living room, and I shall sing. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put this camera now. Come to think of it. Put my microphone there. That's it. I'll put my camera there. I might be a little bit wonky. Is that all right? Oh, hang on. There you are. That's all right, isn't it? Here we go then. Piano on. Here we go. Estelle, 88 years old. It was a birthday wish all the way from the UK, my darling, all right? From Wayne, your boy. It's a nice name, Estelle. I'm just trying... There were some famous people. There was a famous person called Estelle, wasn't there? Who was the famous one? Was it a TV person or someone like that? I can't remember now. Right, let me just settle down again. Settle down now. There we are. That's it. All right. There we are. That's it. Back to my bits and pieces. There it is. I don't want to lose this bit of paper because that's got your address on it, and I shall send that to your mum, Wayne. Probably by the time you're watching this, hopefully she will have that. Happy birthday, Estelle, in Vestow. Vestow, is it? Vestow, New York. Happy birthday. Hello to Joe Morris. It's Uncle Joe from AmericanTalkUSA.com. AmericanTalkUSA.com. He does his own podcast there. He says, Chris is not taking the programme down to Joe's level. In the gutter, talking about other people's wind, beg pardon? Yes, that's what I said on the show. Joe says, well, Chris, it has now been a year since my lovely Amy and I started listening to your programme. We're so blessed to have you. Oh, are you joking, dear? Is this some sort of joke email? I'm sure I've been forced on a lot of people. You know, that accidentally come across the programme and they can't get off it. We are blessed to have you, Suko and Jerry, Wayne, Joy, Gwen, Gemma, Chris and Jerry, Carl, Julian and Romy. Oh goodness, the list goes on and on, doesn't it? Yeah, we've all got lots of new friends, haven't we? Yeah, perhaps I am a connector. And I'm pleased to bring people together, I am. Joe says, we are so blessed to have you in our lives. I like learning from you guys, all of you, your stories, your experiences, they are all fantastic. I think they are. We've all got stories, haven't we? All got stories. And we're not frightened to share them, are we? I think if we've got anyone watching or listening who is new to the show, perhaps you haven't been there very long, you will soon find out that this is a programme where we like to share stories, share experiences of life, sometimes happy experiences, sometimes sad experiences. But nevertheless, this is what this programme's about. Me being the man in the middle, telling you what I've been up to, you telling me what you've been up to. That's what it's all about. If you've never written in before, feel free to do so. Don't be shy. If you ever want to write anonymously, sometimes we have people who say, I wish to remain anonymous, but please, if you want, you can read this out. That's fine as well. What you need is perhaps a little bit of trust. You can trust me. I'm not a politician. I don't really bat for either side. Okay? If you ever want anything private, put it on the email. Please do not read this out. Or, please read this out, but don't mention my name. You can trust me. Okay? Promise you. This programme is built around people that trust me. Joe goes on to say, thank you, Chris, for all the effort you put into your show. I know it takes a lot of time to do what you do, and oh, how we appreciate it. Have a fantastic day. Joe Morris in Eastern Tennessee, United States of America. Thank you, Joe. It's a really nice email. Thanks ever so much for that. And, yeah, it does take a bit of time. It does take quite a lot of time to do my bits and pieces. It is, of course, worth it. I think it's worth it to be able to put a smile on people's faces. Not always. Sometimes. I would guess that sometimes I come out of a show and I'm thinking, after some of the things I've said or told you about, there might be one or two tears now. But that's life, isn't it? Life is not one big happy thing, unfortunately. If it was, it might be boring, mightn't it? If we had nothing to cry over, nothing to think about. Onwards. Yeah, oh, just before I go on. Email address again, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. If you've been watching a while and you've never emailed, you want to just say hello? That's fine. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Just before we go on to this email, I wanted to, let me just pull out the right bit of paper here. Oh, I'm sure I had some more. Oh, there's a lot here. There's actually quite a lot of emails here. I don't think we're going to get through all these again, are we? Oh, it's shocking, isn't it? I think the next couple of shows will be based on emails. We're certainly not going to do the bank story. I'm going to read this one next. It's Ivona. Now, Ivona's in Slovakia, listens to the show on a regular basis, and she's learning English. Sometimes the English is a bit broken up, but that's cool, Ivona. It's no problem at all. Hi, Mr. DJ. Hello, my only love. Hello, my living legend. It's all becoming... I think you're getting a little bit starstruck now, Ivona, my darling. Chris, you asked me how I listen to United Kingdom Talk. Yes, of course, FM radio. And I don't know how I can listen to United Kingdom Talk in England because I need you and your magical smile. Yes, magical, because when I hear you smiling, your smile, I'm smiling with you, and that's the miracle. Yeah, see, Ivona doesn't watch the show, she listens. And she can tell when I'm smiling just by listening. She says, I think so. My love, I am sorry for my English. I told you before, don't worry about your English. If you can just put a few words together and I'll work out the rest, all right, my darling? Don't worry about it. And that goes for anyone else. If you can't write good English, then just try. Give it a go. I might be able to work out what you're saying. If I can't, I apologise, okay? But I will have a go. And Chrissy, please, when I tell you, Chris, you are a lovely man, it's true. And back to your face. Okay. Because Ivona is concerned that I'm not keen on my face. It's a little bit old and haggard now. You need only this 3 times of the week peeling and exfoliating mask and deep pore cleansing mask because you are working in clubs and places like that. And for your skin, this is terrible. Oh, I know. I mean, to be honest, Ivona, when the smoking was allowed in clubs and pubs, that was bad enough, right? I thought once that had stopped, my skin would get better. But you see, you've still got people coming over and talking to you with their vile acid breath. And you can literally feel another bit of your face being burnt away as they come and talk to you. Usually management that you don't really get on with. Not all of them, just some of them. You have to take a step back. The breath. Isn't it awful? Well, the worst things is bad breath, isn't it? Oh, isn't it awful? And they come up. There's one particular bloke. This is at the place I work on Saturday night. And he always comes... I don't know if he does it on purpose. He always comes up to me after eating a bag of cheese and onion crisps. And you can... And he said, hello... And these bits of crisps are flying out of his mouth. Oh, it's vile. Absolutely vile. And you can see them. See bits of crisps stuck in between his teeth. Oh, God. I hope I'm not like that when I'm eating crisps. Ivona says, and for your skin, this is terrible. Not only for your skin, but your asthma too. Because smoke is very bad. Well, we don't smoke now in the UK in enclosed places, Ivona. We stopped that around about this time last year. Chrissy, fantastic cosmetics products for you, man skin, are Nivea and L'Oreal. Are you being paid by them, dear, to get a mention? Oh, it's all right. Don't worry, dear. Believe me, I am still with you. I love you. Baby, today is a very bad day for me. I am tired. I'm going to sleep. My love, I wish you a good night. Send you a kiss. Lots of love from Ivona. She's lovely. Now, the reason I read this now, Ivona, I'm hoping that you are still able to listen to the show because, unfortunately, those of you who listen on RTI on satellite are not affected, or the internet. But unfortunately, the radio authorities in Slovakia have deemed that there are to be no more English, that they have already been, this has already happened, unfortunately. There are now no English programmes to be broadcast on FM in Slovakia. I can't go into the story. I don't know the whole story, but I got an email from the guy who runs RTI, Eric, about a week and a half ago so now, and he informed me that all the English programmes, including this one, and indeed the music programme I do there on RTI, are no longer on FM, but you can still get him, because what they've done is split the transmission things at night, and you can still get them by watching us or listening to us rather on the Sky Satellite channel 0195 at the same times as what the programme was on FM, okay? And also on the internet. Of course, the best way to listen to the show, as always, is to go to the main United Kingdom Talk website. And that's unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And I'm just looking at the clock there. Not doing too bad. Of course, I'm not going to get through all these emails, but I'll do my best. All right, Ivona, so I hope you're still with us, my darling. And I think I'd best to send you a little text, actually, because I'm not sure that you're going to be able to get to a computer or indeed a satellite thing. I'm not sure whether you can do that. But no longer on FM in Slovakia, I'm afraid. All right. Hi to Robert. Yes, it's our man in Iceland. You see, we have more correspondents here all over the world in different places than the BBC. We do. Does the BBC have Mr. Robert on their books? No, they don't. Hi, Chris. This is your friendly Viking. The Vikings, the Vikings, la 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 la. It's quite good that how you introduce yourself, Bob the Viking, and I always know who you are. Joe in Tennessee always writes Joe in Tennessee. Okay. Wayne Anonymous writes Wayne Anonymous, and I know who that is. Sometimes, if you get like a couple of Johns writing in, and it's just John, it can get a little bit confusing, and you're not quite sure who it is. I feel personally rude that I don't recognise someone straight away. But when you add a bit to your name, you're immediately recognisable. For example, if I was to write to you, I suppose I'd write from Chris, United Kingdom Talk. You'd know straight away, wouldn't you? We got Wayne Norwich. Okay, Wayne in Norwich. He writes his letters Wayne brackets Norwich. Know who that is straight away. So that might be a good idea to write in like that. That's for anybody who writes in. Add a bit to your name so that it's always instantly recognisable. I mean, obviously, if you're Shirley Bassey and you was to write in an email like that, then I would recognise you straight away. Please don't worry about that, Shirley. I'd love to have afternoon tea with Shirley Bassey. Blimey, how much would that cost me? Perhaps you'd be happy to come round here. I know then I would absolutely have to buy an expensive teapot. Actually, you know what? I'm going into town later. I'm going to have a look at expensive teapots. Yes, shall I? Why not? I quite like that, you know, little, yeah, proper cut. I mean, it's all very well having this like white thing. I mean, but it's, you know, I mean, it's nothing special, is it really? And the stainless steel one, which I've had for years. I'd like one of those posh ones with hand paint. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look in the department store later. Hi, Chris. This is your friendly Viking from the far-flung corner of the world that is Iceland. The land of fire and ice, and some rather tasty local foodstuffs, I might add. Well, dear listener, one of the things that some people believe about Iceland is that we have polar bears. In practice, we get them about once every 100 years or so. It all depends upon the ice flows, and the chances of an iceberg reaching Iceland is not that common. Okay, so in actual fact, there are no hundreds of polar bears walking around Iceland. You may be disappointed. Maybe you had booked a holiday to go and see the polar bears in Iceland, where there aren't any. You're going to be terribly disappointed. Although probably Bob will invite you around for a cup of tea and perhaps a sheep's head. Isn't it a sheep's head that you eat or something like that? He says, add to this one, that might be home to a polar bear, and you soon get to see that it is rare. Well, this morning, news reached your pilot, explorer and news reporter for the Reardon Times newspaper of one such event. Actually, not that far from my home, a polar bear was spotted and, alas, had to be killed. Oh, that's a shame. Why did it... Did they attack people, polar bears, for no reason? Are they... I know they're great big creatures, but... Do they attack... Oh, that's a shame. Such a large king of snow, isn't he, really? Beautiful animals. Why did it have to be killed? And now, dear listeners of United Kingdom Talk Show, I have to provide a correction to our eating habits. You may remember it must be a couple of months ago, Robert did write in with some of the rather strange eating habits of the Icelandic people. We do not eat smelly shark meat and sheep's heads all of the time. No, only at certain times. Oh, God. Or, as in the case with sheep's heads, we feed it to the tourists. How awful. Ha ha, he says. My father-in-law runs a sheep farm high up in the valley, and believe me, there is nothing that comes close to roast Icelandic leg of lamb. Oh yes, pure heaven. Also, this land is famous for its salmon rivers, which I think are some of the best in the world, so there. Now, I had a salmon sandwich in the Fortnum and Mason's afternoon. I didn't like it at all. Don't like the taste. Oh, it's horrible, fishy, nasty taste. Don't like salmon. News from the flight deck. Captain to flight attendant. Is it true that we have the world-famous Chris Reardon flying with us today? Flight attendant. I think so, Captain. Captain, good, because I know for a fact that he loves sheep's heads followed up with putrefied shark meat. Flight attendant, really? Captain, and make sure we play the movie about snow, because I know he just can't get enough of the stuff. Oh, I don't like snow. He was telling me the other day that if he had his way, it would be winter all year round. Flight attendant, oh, the lives these stars lead. And that's from Bob the Viking. Thank you, Bob. Another good writer. We've got some good writers for the show, haven't we? And just in case you're a new listener or viewer, let me tell you now, I do not like any of those things. My favourite meal would be sausage, egg, beans and chips, or a roast beef Sunday dinner, or chili con carne, or beans on toast. They're some of my favourite meals. And I do not like the winter. I don't like any snow at all. I don't like the cold. If I had my way, it would be summer all year round, not winter. Thank you very much. Oh, I don't know, maybe I should move to Spain, although there was a programme on, I tell you, the other week, about some families who bought houses in Spain, and was Spain, Greece, I think there was another, where was the other one? One in Spain, one in Greece, and someone somewhere else, and they've all turned into disasters. Maybe talk about that on another show, along with the bank story. It's not going to happen, is it? You're not going to get the bank story today either. Never mind. Suko, on the subject of the Eurovision Song Contest, which we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, I do believe these contests are, in a large way, popularity contests. Now, if you were listening to the show, you would have heard that I'm rather peeved, along with most people here in the UK, that the last few Eurovision Song Contests, we have come so far down the list. In terms of, you know, if there were 30 people in the contest, we're at like 29 or 30 all the time. And this has only happened since Eastern European countries came into the competition. And what it appears to happen, from the way I'm looking at it, is that these countries are all voting for each other. And I'm convinced it's all because they're just friends. I don't have a problem with friends, but if it's a music contest, you've got to vote for the right song. Otherwise it just doesn't work. And I don't think it's been working. Suko's point on this, she said, she doesn't believe it's necessarily political. I know on American Idol, sometimes the best looking people are voted back, even if their talent is not up to par with the rest. Yeah, yes, I know exactly what you mean there, Suko. When I was, let's go back 10, 15 years. When I was younger, I certainly had a lot more people hanging around me while I was working as a DJ. Now, no one comes near me. It's all an age thing. Sometimes I wonder if it's about your talent at all, or whether it's about your looks in certain jobs. This particular programme is not about looks. Otherwise, you just wouldn't be there, would you? You see what I mean? I'm not saying it's about talent either. But the point is, you're not watching or listening to this for my youthful looks, because I don't have any. Okay? We've gone over the 40 mark now. So it's more of a friendly thing, this, isn't it? We're friends. You, Suko, and indeed you as well, anyone else. You are friends. We are friends. You don't fancy me. It's like a different thing. And quite honestly, I think it's better. I think it's better. Do you really want people, just hundreds of people hanging around you just because they fancy you? I don't know about that now. Do I miss that? Of course I do. Can we turn the clock back? No, that's the way it is. Suko goes on to say, however, the most talented usually do win. Well, thank God for that. I don't know how the voting works for Eurovision, but here, and probably on X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, the audience votes and the person or act with the least votes gets eliminated. I think this works because as the less talented people are eliminated, the most talented receive votes from those who may have possibly voted for someone because they were hot looking. The other thing to consider is that the Eastern European countries may not be voting for their fellow countries for political reasons, but because their style of music, which they are used to, which might be different from what the rest of Europe enjoys. Just some thoughts. You know, I always have to get my 2 cents in, and that's Suko. Do you know, I think, yeah, I think you could be right there. I'm not convinced. I still think it's a case of friends voting for each other, Suko. But as always, thanks for your emails there. The way it votes, quickly, because I'm running out of time, the way the voting works on the Eurovision is that all the countries sing a song, and then all the countries then vote on the other countries and give them a score out of 12. That's how it works. One with the most votes wins. I'm out of time. I do have a lot more emails to get through here. I'll bring them up on the next show, OK? Don't forget the email address. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for watching and listening. See you on the next show. Bye-bye now.